here I am outside the Homestead Heritage Furniture Shop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this thing into them and ask them to help me with it. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a piece of junk right now, but I hope they see the treasure in it. We found it in an old New York barn from the early 1800s, and actually, I think it's a wonderful piece of furniture. I know it looks like a piece of junk, but we're going to turn this sow's ear into the silk purse if I can convince Frank of its value. So let's see what happens. Frank's really the master craftsman, and he's the one that will have to do it. So he's either going to throw it in the fire right now, or else he's going to agree to do something with it. So let's go in and find out if we can convince Frank of its real, true value as a treasure of American history. So let's see what happens. I think just Frank's in there, so let's catch him by surprise. Good morning, Frank. I've got a little project for you.
Oh, great. Set it right here.
You say great. And it's not for the fire. It's not a bunch of firewood for you. So just, what do you think?
Well, I think we can work on it. It's going to need a little work, I suppose.
Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah, this is great.
I knew you'd be a man of vision. Seriously, it's a very interesting piece that we just found. It just came down on the truck to Texas from New York, and they found it in a barn. You know, we find all kinds of stuff kicking around, and this was something which they were going to get rid of, and I saw it and I said, wow, this thing has a story to tell, and I thought we could actually restore it to what it was. Yes. And I thought, let's look at it and see, and I'm going to leave it with you because I know you'll do a great job with it.
Okay.
But let's look at it. I mean, you know, do you have a tape? I'm
I
interested in
do,
something.
yeah.
Look at this. These things were called a 6-board chest.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what's the width of this and the width of this?
Let's see here.
14 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, 14.
What's this?
This is,
Interesting. How about, so all four sides are 14 and a half.
measure.
What's
14 and a
the
half,
bottom board? Because it's got to be the
see
same thing.
bottom board, yep, same measurement.
You know what that means? Somebody built this from one long board.
Exactly.
It was one,
Yep.
Lou, what do you think it is? What kind of wood? Looks like
I would say it's pine, eastern pine.
yeah, it's an eastern, I think it's an
white
eastern
pine,
white
yeah.
pine, and even if you look at the grain of it, it looks like it all came out of one long board. They cut into 6 parts,
Absolutely.
and they let that dimension, that width of the board, determine the size of the chest.
Exactly.
And this was an early American 6-board chest. Now, just how early? I mean, the thing that I saw, which I'm sure you've seen, what makes it so great is
Yeah.
are these dovetails. Somebody, all 4 sides here, somebody hand dovetailed. They're all hand done, right?
Absolutely. They're
Yeah.
all hand done.
Yeah, beautiful.
All, very nicely done. Very nicely done.
I know it looks like a piece of junk right now, but I thought, can we do it? What do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
I wonder what it was.
I think we can work on it. Of course, we'll have to. Seems like there might be some things that we might have to add to it. Possibly, looks like there's
Yeah,
a
look at that.
line there.
There's like a ghost of a shadow
Yeah.
of where, let's look down at this end. A ghost shadow here
Sure enough.
of what must have been like a molding.
The
or
dust seal.
A dust seal?
Yep,
Yeah.
To protect, keep the dust from going in. So that we'll need to replace that, and I'll put that on this edge, and obviously on the sides and then the front. It also looks down on the bottom here that there was possibly some missing molding as well.
Yeah, like came right to that line there
exactly,
too.
right to there.
It looks like the green color, which it looks like an early American milk paint, which that green I think was a common color back then. I mean, it's a beautiful green, but you
So
can
you'd
see.
like it? We can actually re-milk paint this to make it look just like it was.
Well, you know, sometimes people don't like to repaint these things, but I think we could milk paint it. But why wasn't it done on the back? It's funny, it's on, this must be the front, obviously the front, but they did not paint the back. I mean, were they that frugal that they?
Yeah, I think so. Trying to just save
Say paint? Okay. Well, hey, look at this. There's that iron hinge. I took this one off before, but
Yeah, this is a newer one.
that's a new hinge?
Yeah, this is a newer hinge.
But this must have been the original hinge in there. The
Exactly,
two,
that was
the mortises for the original hinge are right there. So do you think we can get Caleb in the blacksmith shop to make a new iron hinge by hand?
I think so.
That would be great.
I'll talk to him and we can get a hand forged hinge which would match the original piece here.
Do you want, let's take a look inside. You know, it looks like, I mean, it looks like it's hand planed. I mean, this came from a day when it was all, I mean, some craftsmen in the late 1700s, early 1800s, hand cut all these dovetails. And I mean, this was a work of art at that time. And now it's, you know, I know it's a castaway right now, but we're gonna.
Well, it's still pretty intact. I mean, it's still, I mean, considering that it's, you know, I don't know, 200 years old possibly.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's in great shape, really, considering that. And on this molding here, if we were going to replace this, how tall do you think that
Well,
that molding was? It's obvious on the top here that this molding may
Yeah.
be 1.25 inches
Yep.
or so, but
Yep.
down here, what? You
I don't know, I kind of like it taller. You know, do you think you could dovetail the corners to match this dovetail?
I think so, yeah. This is a fairly steep slope, which was common for softwood. They would have done a steeper slope.
You mean the angle of the dovetail
Angle of the dovetail.
is steeper so it holds in softwood like this
Exactly.
pine? Oh, wow.
Exactly. So
That's interesting.
I'll do that same matching dovetail right there on the base.
Could we even do something like that?
Sure, like a 7-inch.
Yeah, and this will kind of just set down in it. And that will, I mean, so that means that this is not original, huh? These things.
Yeah, these look like they were certainly added there.
So these casters were in another life. Here looks like some original nails.
Yeah. Oh, look at, here's one right here.
Yeah, that tacked
That's
the
a-
bottom on.
Sure enough, look at this.
But you know, yeah, there's one. Wow, that's a cut nail in early 1800s. But it doesn't look like that piece wrapped around. And we don't see the shadow of the green paint. But do you think it was just the three sides?
I think it may have just been the three sides because I think if it was over here, we would have at least seen
Oh, look,
some line.
look at that red right there. That
Oh,
red,
look at that,
yeah,
sure.
it looks like a red writing from the original. You know, we see that in barns, that kind of red, almost like an early pencil in iron oxide red, where they would number the parts of the barn. And I guess he numbered the parts of the chest, which, is there one on the other end? Is there a red mark anywhere down there? Can you see anything? Because he would have matched, he would have marked, that's where he marked his dove. This is a 5, a Roman numeral 5.
Sure enough.
Well,
yeah.
4, no, it might be an IV, 4 for the fourth corner. So he marked this and this 4 because when he dovetailed, he didn't want to get his dovetails mixed up. They wouldn't go together. So it looks like that might have been his marriage mark, like in a barn, to show how the chests went together. Do you want to put that back in place so we don't lose it? Yeah, that's it. So we'll cast off the casters. Yeah, they're a ball bearing. They're just 20th century stuff. And make this base. That will, I mean, I think it's gonna turn into something nice. I think it's 5-inch. Yeah, whatever you think. The 5-inch would be great. Dovetailed, and this will just set down in it.